You're listening to Negative. I'm CBE, director of Money Boys.
Welcome to this new cinema conversation of the podcast Negative. My name is Thibaut Elie, and today we're going to talk about the first feature film of an emerging director. Hello CBE.
Hello, hi.
Your movie, Money Boys, premiered at the Un Certain Regard competition in Cannes last year and is now competing for the Grand Prix du Jury at the Premier Plan Angers Film Festival in France. You were born in China, but you have lived in Austria since your teenage years, and your film will be released in French cinemas on March 16th. This is the story of young sex workers in the Chinese society. Fei, a handsome young man, tall and slender, with a childlike and angelic face, sells his body to rich men. You paint an intimate, raw but delicate portrait, resolutely sensitive and moving on the paradoxes and constraints that led to a part of the youth making this life choice. A first question, CBE, what did you feel was so beautiful, so important in telling the story of these young men?
I think young people like Fei, who moves from countryside to the big city to work hard and earning less money. Sometimes they are treated like shit and living in a very bad condition, but they still do it. Not only for themselves, they are mostly do it for their family in the countryside who needs the money to get a living. So this kind of people like Fei, it's not necessarily being working as a sex worker, also like you work in the restaurant, in the construction site, you would also be treated very bad sometimes. So this kind of young people make me think they are some kind of heroes. That's why I wanted to tell this story.
You portray a social environment through the life of several young boys. How did you proceed to write a Fei's character? Did you do research?
I did a lot of researches, and I also meet some of the Money Boys. At the beginning, I met a schooler who met like more than 2,000 male sex workers, asking about everything about their life, why they starting to do that, for what reason, and what dramas or what happiness standing behind that. And very interesting fact is that 70% of these Money Boys were heterosexual men, actually. And so I was more and more intrigued by these happenings. Why young people working in this field in a country which banned or which not allowed them to work as like sex workers because it's illegal. So when you're being caught, you have to go to the prison or something. But they are still doing that. The main motivation just to supporting their family in the countryside. So I go very deep, and I met some guys, and to the end, I think because in film you can compress stories in one, so I add many different kind of life and their stories in the main character of Fei.
When doing research with these people that you met, did you think about making a documentary?
Yes, at the very beginning I thought about that. At that time, it was almost like 8-10 years ago. I'm very into the making film like the Austrian film director Ulrich Seidel, who did a mixture of fiction film with documentary style. But very soon I find out that being a film director, you have responsibilities to your characters and also to people who you bring on the screen. And the first idea was finding 5 real money boys to let them acting, and sometimes also, of course, telling the true story of their life and let them like an actor. But to the end, I think you never know what would happen after audience saw them. It could affect their private life and also like many dramas that you could see in Money Boys now. And I think to make it as a fiction film, you have more freedom to compress all the themes that I want to tell in it.
So you did not make a documentary, but did you went for total or full realism for your fiction?
I think everything you can show, it can be realistic. Every story that you can imagine, it can be realistic because there are so many people out there, so everything can happen. So I consider it's realistic. It's real happenings that I just put it in one character. So because film is also to dramatize.
You talked about the young boys you met in real life that were heterosexuals, but they were paid to have a homosexual relationship with rich men. In your fiction, did you choose heterosexual actors to play homosexual characters, or did you think it was necessary to have gay actors to play gay characters?
During the research, I find out, and because I asked myself, why 70% of heterosexual men working as money boys? But some said, not everyone, but some said sometimes it's easier to have a male clients as a female clients. It's about the possibility because you have both paths you can be. And I did more than 2 years of casting, and I met many great actors who want to be part of this project because they were touched by the story and they want to support the LGBT community and to be solidarity with them. And there mainly was not homosexual, of course, but I think it is a good sign that heterosexual actors or people want to support that. So I wouldn't think only homosexual actors should play homosexual characters. That would mean also that homosexual characters will never get the chance to play a heterosexual character. So you put people in the corner. This is not the human action, I think, towards each other.
We talked about how you cast your actor, but what did you discuss with them? Did you discuss the script? How did you direct them on the set?
When you finally choose your actor and you want to work with each other, there must be some understanding to each other. And mostly you will find like-minded people that you want to work with. So in my case, of course, I prepared very well for my script. Every scene was very precisely, I know how to do it. But working on film is always like a work in progress. So when you go to find a location, maybe you have more ideas and you meet someone who played the character while talking, while get to know his character and how he behave, all that. It could lead to be it's adding to plus to your thoughts. So this is the main idea. So I try to spend quite a long time private also with my actors, of course talking about the script, about the character, about their private life. Maybe I can find something, how they act, the physical things that I could use. And also about life, of course, because making film, telling story is about life and human being. And there will be a certain kind of moment that I feel that my actor who plays the character knows more about the character as me. So I would start a kind of like initiation. I will tell him, from this moment on, you are the character. Everything while we shooting, you cannot do anything wrong, because you are the character. I will mostly not tell too much to you. So just feel free, be this character. So, and then at the shooting, you create a safety environment that the actors can open up their emotion, open everything.
Recently, we talked with the American director Sean Baker about his movie Red Rocket. I don't know if you know about it.
I saw the trailer.
Okay.
But I haven't had chance in Cannes to see this film.
So we talked with him and his actor Simon Rex about Cassavetes and the space given to actors in filmmaking and improvisation. How do you operate on the set to give space to the actor? Is it important to you?
Giving space to the actor is very important, but I think there are few different kind of actors. There are actors who prepared very well. They know exactly their character. So this kind of actor, I don't need to involve in their work, in their minds so much. Of course, there are some actors like to get some cake. You have to always say, very great, what do you do, what do you think, what do you say? So you're giving them candies. But there are also actors, they want you to punish them, to push them to their limit. And there are also actors who want to be ignored. Because ignored, I mean, they are might smart and they already prepared so very well, so they don't like to be disturbed. So you have to let them the free space. So you have to treating every actors differently. So this is just a feeling. And in my case, sometimes because we have a very short time to shoot this film, and I only meet few actors before the shooting. For example, the main actor, the Keiko, he came to the project was 3 months before, and lots of supporting actors who you can see in the long scenes. I never met them personally. I just casted them while like digital casting, video casting.
On the social networks?
No, the casting manager just showed me some videos of them, but I felt they are the right person. So because we have the too short time, so at the same day, the supporting actors came and get to know them, talk separately with each one, get to know their characters, their how they are, and they also at the same day they meeting each other, and then we after I talk to everyone, get to know and make the initiation that you are the character, and then I put them together. And but thank God, or no, thank their talent that that everything doing very well, because they are real. I met very professional actors. So for all these 8-9 minutes sequence, we did it in one day. But I think so. That's why I said everything has to be improvised at that moment while shooting, before shooting, and of course for long scenes, it's very tricky.
Sequence shot. You
Yeah,
have a
long
lot of
sequence
sequence shots.
Yes.
With few to no cut.
Yeah. So some are like really 8 minutes or something. So it was like it's very risk, because when you do something wrong, then you have to repeat again. And
in the technique or in the acting?
both way. And so every day, every time we do that, it's like a lottery.
So you shot one day, one sequence?
Yes, sometimes one day, 2 sequences.
If you got lucky.
Yeah, I felt very lucky, because you know, the whole film, the raw material, we put it together, was 3.5 hours. We could use it, and we shot it in 35 days. So it means it's almost 2 television film shot by 35 days. But it was fun, because while you working in this process, so it runs.
How many takes did it take to have the best take?
As I said, the Keiko, our main actor, he was always perfect. It was like always the first two takes was perfect, but sometimes, of course, the other actors just came into the project at that day, so they need longer. But Keiko always do his best, and also waiting patiently. I think mostly the third takes, fourth takes, we could use it, and just sometimes maybe the ninth takes, but the maximum, because we don't have time also, so max 10 takes and we have to stop. So lottery.
As a filmmaker, would the biggest question you had to answer be where to put the camera?
As a director, you said?
Yes.
Yes. I said before that you have to be very precise to write the script, know everything. If you know everything before, and then you can, on set, you can be improvising. And I know at the first moment that I want to do every scene just one shot, because of the formalistic concept I had in mind. So it was also with the DOP Jean-Louis Viala.
He's French.
He's French. Yes, he supports me and us also very well, because he could also improvise. So we decide a lot of scene just few days or the same
For the
day.
framing, the composition?
Yes, but we know how we want. While we did the location scouting, we said, okay, it will be like that. And the movie will be like this.
And you agreed it was simple to agree on this? With Jean-Louis Vialard?
Yes. So we do it like also with other team members. We could talk like equally. And it's very fast to find out what we want.
And did you, from the first take to the fourth or eighth take, did you change the framing, or was the camera always at the same place?
Yes, never change, because we know it's the right angle. Because I think telling a story, you always have the right angle, and we know it from the beginning. We want to be part of the, let's say, we want to be like a friend with a respect distance to our character. When he move, we move. And also due to the situation that the main character is in, he's catched by the society, by the by the situation. So he take every because the main character is sacrifice himself for his family, but he knows that what he do to get faster the money to supporting his mother because she was sick and needs money, it's not accepted by the society and by the law, because he's doing some kind of prostitution, and prostitution is forbidden in some countries. So he take all this guiltiness on himself and know that the society will criticize him. It's like he catch himself in this kind of frame prison, and also his situation, he cannot come out of this prison. So he take his fate, and so agreed subconsciously that the camera is like the policeman or like a friend or like a neighbor, just observing him and watching him what he's doing. So there's no escape for him to be CCTV'd by friends or by police.
How important was the lighting of your movie in telling its story?
I think the best way to lighting or to tell a story, to lighting a film, is the natural light, and as much as possible to use the natural light. But sometimes night times or dark in a dark place, it depends on the mood and what kind of atmosphere you want to create. But all of these lightings, it's to support to creating in the framing the atmosphere to triggers the audience to get into the story and to have some emotion. So lighting is really important in that way for that. And of course the color, the sound, sometimes also the natural sound, and you can to create to support this atmosphere.
The editing room is the place where your film sometimes find its shape. Was it the case for you?
I think all the work, the pre-production and during the production shooting and the post-production, they are always working in progress till you really finish the film with the subtitle and all this cast. So in the editing rooms, of course, you can retell the story, and also doing this all these years of making this film, sometimes new idea can rise, and it can be much better than the idea that you had it before, or you found out the new theme in this film, because in Money Boys there are many different kind of themes in it. It depends how is your day to day, how your emotional can be triggered by the story and how focused you are. So it pop up different themes. And
did you choose to focus on one theme in the editing room?
It was slightly when you want to finish ending the film. So there's the way. One day suddenly you know, oh, okay, when I want to end this film like that, and I find out my themes, so I would go for that way. So at that moment, the suffering of a director comes out, because at that moment you have to start to kill your darlings. So, because I told you before, we had like 3.5 hours of material. I think we have more scenes shoot.
The final film is
2 hours.
2 hours.
So
you cut almost half.
Yeah. I cut a lot, but
Was it difficult?
Yes, totally. At the beginning, it was told by producers and distributors that as a first-time director, it's difficult to have a 3 hours film to be presented somewhere in festivals. So it's better to
2 hours long max.
yeah,
Maximum.
2 hours long. Yeah, this is really max. So as a director, you had to be like a little bit flow, and you cannot just force it. And I just want that way. And sometimes when you are pressed, also have some pressure, you could like sneaky around, and sometimes you're starting really to think about what you really want to tell. And I think to the end, it was good to shorten the time of this film, so you can just focus on more simple. Sometimes you can simplify the things, the story you want to tell. So, but you have to kill your darling, and this is the really hard process. But in my case, yeah, it took me, I think, 1 or 2 months to, while the editing, to realize, okay, that's fine. Let's delete 1 hour, and I'm happy with that solution. Actually, that we did that. So yeah.
You talked about your producers and distributors. It is never easy or a simple task to raise money for a first feature film. For Money Boys, how did you manage to finance the film and what challenges did you face?
I think for me, it's the first time director, but also working with the producers was the first time. At the beginning, it's always has to be some, how you say it, like
Friction?
you have to fight a bit to know each other and to get used to each other. So that's normal. And then later, you will find out, finally you can respect each other. So I think for the production companies was also not easy to believe a first-time director who wants to tell this story, every scene, just one shot. I can imagine that they at the beginning they wanted to have more like more shots for one scene, because of the riskness. Maybe you did some wrong, then you cannot use the whole scene. But somehow my artistic team and me, we show them that we can do that. So we are focused on that, and this is the right way. And I was strongly forced to do it. I didn't want to have some other solution, or because it would, if you starting to make different shots for one scene, actually you waste more time than just focus on one single shot that you want to make it perfect. So after a few days of shooting, the producers, they saw the material, and then slowly they were
They
eased.
came down.
Yeah, they calm down and starting to trust me that I can do that.
What is the most beautiful mistake, error, or failure that you made or had during the making of the film?
But I think the problem of the question is, maybe it's not a beautiful, not mistake, but so I think making film, you are creating this atmosphere to make audience feel the emotion task with the character, and at the shooting you have to be lucky also sometimes. That I said that I choose the right actors, even I didn't met them before, just saw them on videos, but they managed it to do it perfect at the shooting day. But to making a film, I experienced that some magic moments always. Also in my short film, there are some magic moments happened, and in Money Boys, the magic moment or the magic take was actually the last scene in our film, the disco scene. At the beginning, in the script, it's just said Faye and Long, they finally been together and spending time together, and they are in the disco, and Long seduce Faye to dance and make him feel ease. And well, we didn't thought we would shoot like 5 minutes of it. So the first take was so okay, and the second take we start shooting with the crowds and all that, and during the camera is running, after 1 minute, I felt something that Keiko starting to dance and all that, and I supposed to say cut, but I thought just let him do it. Maybe comes something out, I don't know. So I just let him dance, and 3 minutes, 4 minutes, he gets more excited and all that. And to the end, it comes out this sequence where Faye, the character, really comes out of, because he was always living in for others, so depressed. But at that moment, you can see him like freed himself, and he was live in this moment, totally free, not for long, not for the other people in the disco, and he was just for himself. And that everyone finds, while we shoot this, everyone was stopped and breathing and just think, wow, amazing. And after 5 or 6 minutes, we have to stop because he was exhausted. And I said stop, but everyone was happy, and so it was the second take actually, and we made it. So that was the, I think, to the end, it was the most important scene
and shot
for the film, actually.
So we hope that our audience will be able to watch it for the national release in France on March 16th.
Yes.
Thank you, CB.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
For participating in this new interview of Negative. Negative is also a website, negative.co. You can discover the biography of the guest, video extract of the film, as well as a link to explore the topic further. Don't be afraid to follow us on podcast apps on Spotify or on YouTube, and to subscribe to our social networks. See you soon!